Absurdist theatre? Absurdist theatre plays have a circular plot which makes a never-ending story. The characters always have a goal in mind but never actually get round to completing their goal, so nothing really gets done throughout the whole play. For example, in The Caretaker, Aston wants to build a shed, but he uses his business as an excuse as to why he doesn't work on the shed through the play. And Davies needs to go to Sidcup to pick up his validating papers, but doesn't go because he doesn't have a good pair of shoes. He rejects the shoes that Aston buys for him, so he doesn't go to Sidcup for his papers, so they never get their goals achieved, which makes a nice circular plot. Epic theatre. Epic theatre has a fractured narrative, which makes the audience feel like they are watching a montage due to the scenes not really linking. Epic theatre doesn't involve the audience and the characters are often alienated. Epic theatre often shows an argument and has a clear political view. For example, Mother Courage and her children, the main character, Mother Courage, is only referred to as Mother Courage. We don't get her real name. This alienates her from the audience, which makes the audience not involved and aware that they are only watching the play, so they don't really care about the characters when they are alienated. Naturalistic theatre. Naturalistic theatre has a linear plot, which means it's completely straightforward and easy to follow and goes in one direction, which unfolds with only slight fluctuations of tension, so it kind of goes up a little and back down. The audience are allowed to get involved, so the characters have names and surnames, and there's a lot of detail about them. The sets of naturalistic theatre are really real and have working props like water and stuff, and often, if they need trees, they may have real trees. If there is a house as part of the set, the actors can walk in and out and it's all laid out inside the house, even though the audience only see it when a door opens. Naturalistic plays often have a lot of stage directions going into depth about each character in the background, including the way they dress. So there's often at the start of a scene, massive paragraph of stage directions, and then the dialogue starts. For example, in Fences, a paragraph of stage directions at the start of scenes. In the middle of Act 1 and Scene 2, Troy's wife enters. Stage directions don't just say Rose enters from the house. It carries on with a description of her personality, and what she does every Friday. Absurdist versus epic theatre. Neither really have a proper finish to the plays. However, the plot of Absurdist with the circular plot is a lot more organised than epic, with the fractured narrative and montage feel. Absurdist doesn't alienate the characters. Each character has a name and the audience can sometimes relate to them at different parts of the play. However, in epic theatre, the characters are alienated and the audience doesn't really relate to the characters. And that is one of the major differences between Absurdist and epic. Absurdist versus naturalistic. Both types have an organised plot. However, unlike Absurdist, naturalistic does have a proper finish, and the characters do get somewhere in the end due to the linear plot. Both don't alienate the characters, however, naturalistic has a lot more stage directions than Absurdist does, which causes more of a connection with the characters in naturalistic than Absurdist. Naturalistic has a very natural set, whereas Absurdist is more of an abstract set. For example, in The Caretaker, some sets tend to have, there's a set that has boxes in an arch, which is half naturalistic, half not, because it's got the props that would be in a house just arranged in a non-naturalistic way. Naturalistic versus epic. Epic alienates the characters, often not giving them proper names. However, naturalistic not only gives the characters first names and second names, but it also goes into depth about each character in the stage directions. Naturalistic set is natural, whereas an epic set tends to be more minimal and only have one or two things and specific props throughout the whole play. Epic is considerably less stage directions, which are sometimes read out to the audience. However, naturalistic has in-depth stage directions for the actors. Mother Courage and Her Children, epic theatre. Mother Courage is set in Sweden after a war. Mother Courage goes around selling stuff she looted off the dead soldiers. She gets her money and cares for little else other than her children. When her children die, she cares for a little bit-ish, and then goes back to business as she sees that as the most important thing, and business needs to be done. Fences, naturalistic. Fences is a play set in Pittsburgh, America. It is about a guy called Troy who can't play in the leagues in baseball due to his race, and when he retires, they start to allow black folk into the leagues. Troy didn't want to end up like his father, but ended up doing so. He's married to Rose and has a brother called Gabe. Troy is supposed to build a fence, but never gets around to doing it, and always puts it off. Troy dies at the end, and his family ends up being better off without him. Metaphorically, Troy could be seen as the fence he's trying to build, because he's keeps his family away, cornered off. And when he dies, it's like the fence is knocked over and they are free to go to the other side because the grass is always greener on the other side. The Caretaker, Absurdist. The Caretaker is a play with three characters, Mick, Davies, and Aston. Mick is a tough character who wants to push Davies out. Davies is a homeless character who is manipulating Aston and Mick, trying to get a free place to stay. And Aston is a character with a messed up mind due to electroshock therapy, and he brings Davies back to his house and Davies manipulates him. The play itself is quite naturalistic, but the set can be non-naturalistic, so it's kind of in the middle of naturalistic and non-naturalistic. The set of the apartment is a visual representation of the inside of Aston's brain, which is a mess and really slow due to the electroshock therapy. There are really long pauses throughout the play to make the audience feel really uncomfortable and shows the awkwardness between the characters. And it also shows the slowness of Aston's brain. Mother Courage versus Caretaker versus Fences. Themes. Mother Courage looks at themes of virtue and war as business. The themes in The Caretaker are mental health, trauma, cycles, politics, economy and homelessness, and truth and lies. And the themes in Fences are politics, racism, cycles, mental health, death, and hopes and dreams.